Two Hermetic tourists found the Iceman's body. Their names are Helmut and Erika Simon. The Iceman is 5,300 years old.
They found him when they were hiking in the Alps and found a human-like shaped body. They called the police and found out that they had discovered a 5,300-year-old mummy.
The Iceman's body was discovered in Europe in 1991.
Why was the Iceman important to historians? Otzi the Iceman was very important to historians because he was naturally preserved for 5,000 years. This means he was trapped in ice for 5,000 years, and scientists figured out what was his last meal. It was a wild goat. Most people that get preserved usually get preserved in a lab, but that's not the case for Otzi.
Otzi is the oldest or more prehistoric mummy that is in okay conditions. He was discovered on September 19, 1991 by German hikers. This discovery led to more information since the Iceman was alive 5,000 years ago.
Now that this prehistoric mummy has been discovered, scientists have a clear view on how prehistoric humans look like and their lifestyles. These are the reasons why Otzi the Iceman is important to historians.
What the historians learned about the Iceman. The historians had learned that something was human, trapped in cold and freezing ice. They had called him the Iceman. He was a human called Otzi.
They had discovered that he had been shot by an arrow because they had seen an arrow on his back. The historians hadn't found the Iceman. The German tourists found him.
They learned what his last meal was, and it was a meat from a goat. This is what we have learned so far of what the historians have learned about the Iceman.
Why does his bones look like chicken and a burnt platypus?
His bones dried up, and since his skeleton was so old that now his blood is brown. Also, his bones are brown since the blood dried up from being 5,300 years old. And that means his organs are probably brown too.
Before he died, he had 61 tattoos on him, and even on his skeleton, he still had his tattoos. That could have helped him look like chicken or a bird platypus. Another reason is it's partially his skin that had not decomposed.
How was his body preserved? His body was preserved by a thick layer of ice, which froze his body for 5,000 years.
After he died in the Ortzios Alps, a heavy snowfall came. This covered his body, which kept it sort of fresh. The Alps came very cold, and the cold air is a good preserving technique.
With cold air and cold weather comes snow and ice.
So over 5,000 years, snow and ice covered his body and preserved him.
Why is the Iceman important to the historians?
Otzi the Iceman is important to historians for many different reasons. One reason is because he was preserved for thousands of years and being in such a cold place in the Alps. And by just looking at him, you can find out that he was a human.
Scientists could even find out what his last meal was, goat and grains. Historians also found out what his diet was. Otzi is a really good discovery for historians and scientists.
The Iceman was important because historians are now learning that his tools and clothing are like nothing on a prehistoric mummy.
They are using his body to understand past culture, and his hunting tools have brought new light to prehistoric man.
He was also very important because he was so well preserved in the ice. Scientists knew what was his last meal. It was fatty wild goats.